The Schumann Resonance. Oh my days, look at what this did.
Schumann Resonance, let's talk about what is happening. First of all, hi friend. I really like your content. I like how you communicate and I like how you speak. Good job. So I have agreement, but I also have educational disagreement. So let's talk about why. There's a big difference between individuals who are studying the Schumann Resonance because they understand how the whole entire trajectory of all of this system works, meaning work with the machines, work with all this energy, versus someone who is voyeuristically trying to understand it. And I'm using this video just as an example, but there are so many other individuals who have gone wild with the Schumann Resonance. Everything is about 5D, everything is about ascension, completely negating the actual understanding of how to read these graphs. All of the white that you see, these little large sparks of white light, will be in direct connection to what is going on in terms of actual light frequency. It aligns with full moon. There's more of that happening during the summer months because there is more sun in the sky. All of that is in connection. Now, there's truth to the way that you feel in connection to the energetics of that, and there's also just kind of our minds spiraling a little bit. So we know that when there's lots of sparks of white light, which is when there's a lot of moon energy, energy is going to change. People do feel differently because it's aligning with moon cycle energy. When you see blips of different kinds, like reds and more, will be indicative of things that are going on in terms of electromagnetic energy with thunderstorms and more. But that little DNA strand that you see moving like that was a very specific location in Russia, not in the entire world, in a very, very specific location. And you know that if you take a look at all the other measurement systems, because they're not reflective of that same one that was going on in Russia. So first of all, pause. We have to use a little bit more critical thinking. And again, I'm just using your account as an example. And this is, I spend my life tuning into frequency. Everything for me is vibration. When I do medical scanning, when I'm working with your doctor and your medical care practitioner, everything for me is vibratory. So I understand. When it comes, let me pause. There's many things that I do not understand. And if I don't understand something, I will say it. I will absolutely say it with no guilt or insecurity, because there's things that I know, there's things that I do not know. But vibration, I do know. When it comes to now, is this us moving into 5D? Well, there's a yes and a major no to that. This little thing that happened in Russia was actually a blip. It was actually a blip that happened in that system. So it was an anomaly. Now, everyone else, all these psychics and mediums and intuitives are going to push right now. No, this is going to be the 5D. Why? Because you are looking for an excuse. You're looking for a reason, a justification to feel the way that you feel. Now, here's where the yes comes in. The yes comes in because, well, why did it blip? Why did it blip? Because what is the energetic spectrum in that, going on in that area? Did it blip because it was an anomaly, or did it blip because something actually happened in that area? So I'm going to let you do a little bit of investigative process on your own. For this creator here is saying, I did a download and here's the information that I got. Well, again, remember that all of our downloads, including me as a diviner, everything can feel subjective until you spend time away from ego and away from where your mind moves into its projections. And I actually, again, I like this creator a lot. So I'm not talking about that with you specifically, but that's what our minds go to. That idea that it's time for me to get off this spinning rock and time for me to ascend to what I've always been meant to do. Well, you're meant to do this. This is what you're meant to do right now. And if you're trying to figure out how do I become the highest, most beautiful, ameliorated version of myself, then do that now, as opposed to trying to negate this whole entire experience and move into spiritual psychosis, right? Because we're trying to keep our reality. Change your reality, absolutely. But don't change your reality so much that you feel like, now it's time for me to go, because that is not actually helping you. Wait, I'm back. A few more thoughts. When it comes to how then does this download work? How then does this energetic system work if we can feel that things are going on in connection to the Schumann Resonance? Remember that there are certain things that we can notate scientifically, and there's some things that we can't notate scientifically. So it doesn't negate that you feel a certain feeling. All right? If you are getting angry at me, then move past your ego, because I'm not negating your experience. What I'm asking you to do is use more critical thinking in, though, and to not make an assumption because someone else has said something else that someone else has said, copy of a copy of a copy. Well, that sounds right because that tunes into my highest frequency. Sit with discernment, remove the ego. And if in that removal of ego, you're able to say in fluidity, this resonates, this hits, then that's your answer, right? It doesn't matter if I've angered you. It doesn't matter if you are feeling challenged. If you can feel your feelings without being in your feelings, being aware of the feelings, then things begin to shift. So I love the idea that this is a major up-leveling, right? But this was actually, in terms of the signature of measuring the Schumann resonance, that was actually just a blip. And if you study the Schumann resonance and how all of these different colors align, you will find evidentially that this is actually how it's notated. Listen to me. I'm also still a voyeur. I'm a voyeur on this planetary plane. I hope that helps.